Hello, 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 and we are live once more for the fourth time this week, all about doing Facebook Lives. Now, what I wanted to talk about today is a topic that is really dear to my heart, and that is how to build confidence when you're speaking. Now, confidence is something that I used to struggle with, donkeys ago. But it's a hurdle that I had to come over. So, I had to overcome rather. So it's something that's really, really important. And a lot of people say that they have not done Facebook Lives yet because that's outside of their comfort zone. So they don't have the confidence to do lives. So what I want to do is to help people to really gain lots and lots and lots of confidence when they're doing their Facebook Lives. So where do we start with confidence? Where do we start with confidence? Now, there is so much to tell you about confidence. Now, first of all, anybody who suffers with a lack of confidence when it comes to speaking, you are not alone. Trust me, you are not alone. It is listed as the #1 fear in the world, the fear of public speaking. And let's face it, a Facebook Live is a public speaking gig. It's a kind of small one, but it feels the same, so that's why a lot of people are kind of quite scared about it. So it's the #1 fear in the world, so therefore it's widespread. It's even listed above the fear of dying in many surveys, and it's quite funny because in the US it's the #1 fear. The #2 fear is the fear of death. So public speaking is listed as even more scary than dying. In the UK, it's the #2 fear, still above the fear of death, which comes in at #3. And the #1 fear in the UK is spiders. So yeah, there you go. So you're not alone if you suffer from nerves and anxiety when it comes to public speaking. Now, here's the good news. Obviously, I can't cover everything I know about confidence today, but I have written a book. Yeah, see that? Befriending the Bear of Public Speaking. Okay, fear not. And that is available on Amazon for anybody who really could do with, #1, understanding where that fear comes from, because I've got a whole section on understanding the fear. And you know what? And understanding it really helps you in conquering it. Or I should say befriending it rather than conquering it, because it's never ever going to go away. But you can master it, you can use it to your advantage, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to give you some tips in a moment to start really overcoming all of those nerves. And I haven't got anybody to talk to yet today, so I hope my post is public. I hope I haven't made the mistake of making it private. So anyway, if you're watching this on the replay, I hope this is going to make a lot of sense to you. So let's get into this then in a little bit of detail. So let's start looking at understanding where that fear comes from. A couple of different places. First of all, Trace is giving me some love. Thank you, Trace. Nice to see you. I've got somebody to play with and talk to. Okay, so #1 then, where does this fear come from? It comes from a lot of places. Now, first of all, what you've got to kind of think of is the environment of speaking. When you're speaking, very often you're out front. You are stood here, you've got a whole other bunch of people out there, and this is more when it comes to speaking to an audience kind of in the flesh, as it were, rather than online. But you're facing them generally, and it's very much you against them. You're here looking that way, all of those are out there looking at you, and it feels quite confrontational. It really has an us and them vibe, which is scary. Okay, and let's face it, there's more of them than there are of you. It's like one to many, and that can feel very intimidating. Another thing that really gets in the way of our confidence when it comes to speaking is, as people, we generally want to be liked. But here's the problem. When we are very young, we are told that hogging the limelight, as it were, is not nice, and nice people don't do that. We're told that, you know, nice children are seen and not heard, and we grow up with this, and then it's reinforced, this message is reinforced as we get older, about not to be a show off, not to blow your own trumpet, and it's arrogant, it's, you know, nobody likes a show off, all of that kind of stuff. All of that goes into the self-conscious. And the thing is, once you start looking at putting yourself into a position where you're speaking in public, you are by default hogging the limelight. You are stepping up, and all of these subconscious negative doubts kind of start kicking off in your head as to, you know, who the hell are you? You're showing off, you're blowing, you know, your own trumpet, and that's not nice, and all that kind of thing. So we associate it with something nasty. We associate it with showing off. We associate it with something that's not nice. And because we want to be nice, we want to be liked, we feel uncomfortable with it. So it's quite normal. Yeah, Tracy's saying, I was told that all the time. You know, and you know, be good and set an example. Absolutely. And this is the kind of, you know, thing that we're faced with subconsciously every single time we go to put ourselves in a position where we're speaking. So first of all, you are not alone with this whatsoever. Now, I've got heaps of more examples. In my book, I've got like 3 sections. The first section is why you should speak in the first place. You know, the advantages really, really outweigh those difficulties of overcoming those nerves. Secondly, there's a big section on understanding it and where those fears come from. And then third is how to overcome it. One of the ways to overcome it is quite simply build up your skills. You know, it's like, it's really weird, because just because we can talk one-to-one in conversation with our friends, we automatically assume and think that we should be able to deliver a presentation in public. Well, actually, no, it's a very different skill set. It is completely different to having a conversation with your friends, you know. And it's like anything, if you're not taught, you're not going to be that good at it. If you're not that good at it, you're not going to have confidence in it. It doesn't matter if it's speaking a foreign language, if it's doing something like riding a horse or skiing, anything like that. You know, it's the same with delivering presentations. It's a skill. The more you learn, the more you practice that skill, the better at it you're going to become, and the more your confidence is going to grow. So the first kind of tip is to learn. You know, make sure that you have the competence, and the competence will lead to confidence. Make sense? Cool. Tracy's saying, book, what book? Where can we get it? There you go. It's called Befriending the Bear of Public Speaking. Overcome Your Fear and Speak with Confidence, and it is available on Amazon. Okay. And it's something that I wrote because I was passionate about helping people. I know what it's like. As I say, I was in that position myself. I've often had to overcome those fears. And every time I speak in a new situation, you know, yeah, those little butterflies still happen. And we're going to talk about those in a moment. Now, you might be wondering why the hell I've called it Befriending the Bear. What the flipping heck is a bear got to do with the fear of public speaking? Well, I actually am really in love with bears, particularly black bears. Now, one of the things that I learned in following bears was that the majority of the world are kind of scared of bears, and without reason, especially black bears. Now, yeah, different kinds of bears have got different kinds of personalities. I guess a grizzly bear is going to be, you know, perhaps a little bit more aggressive. But certainly black bears, they are not aggressive creatures whatsoever. The only time they are going to be a danger to you is if they are threatened, and particularly if you've got a mummy bear and she thinks you're threatening her cubs, then she's probably going to, you know, get a little bit aggressive. But even then, if she kind of charges you, and, you know, she won't just jump on you and maul you and eat you, you know, kill you and have you for supper, she's more likely to kind of charge at you. But if you back off, she'll stop. You know, and it's just a natural instinct of protecting their cubs. They are the most gentle, beautiful creatures in the world. Now, I've been following. There's the Will Bear Center in Minnesota, a little town called Ely in Minnesota, and there's a guy there, and I'm not sure I got his website. I think I've got it in the forward of this book here. Where have I got it? Yeah, here we go. It is, oh no, where we go? Yeah, www.bear.org. Okay, and it's just incredible. And the guy who sets it all up, a guy called Lynn Rogers, and he's done this study of bears for, blimey, I don't know, probably 30 years or more now, and they're the gentlest creatures ever. So people are needlessly afraid of black bears. Yeah? It seems big, it's because of their size. You know, they seem big, they seem scary. So people are naturally afraid before they learn about them and find out what lovely, gentle creatures they are. And to me, it's the same with speaking. It's a parallel. People are needlessly afraid of bears, and they are needlessly afraid of speaking. Because when you think about it, right, when you're particularly looking at black bears, your life is not at risk unless you do something really stupid and, you know, you try and, you know, kill one mummy bear's cubs. And it's the same with speaking. You're not going to die. It's not a life-threatening situation. You're going to be fine. Okay, so you're actually needlessly afraid of speaking. It's not a life-threatening situation. It might feel scary. It might appear scary, but it appears more scary than it actually is. And so we're going to start looking at what you can do to allay some of that anxiety. So one of the things that I love to help people with is state management, especially before they're about to do a speaking gig. So you've got state management, and state management, for anybody who's done NLP, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. We are looking at your language, your focus, and your physiology. And so first of all, let's have a little look at language. Now, again, when people start talking to me about having fears with public speaking, they use words like, you know, I say to them, okay, tell me, you know, how you feel. Tell me exactly, you know, the kind of feelings and emotions that come up for you when you picture yourself about to go on stage, or, you know, when you've got something coming up where you're going to be speaking. And they use words such as, oh my God, I'm terrified. I am petrified. Oh, I'd rather die. I'd rather go to the dentist and have all my teeth pulled out. You know, this kind of thing. And it's totally, totally inappropriate language. And of course you wouldn't want to go and have all your teeth pulled out, you know. And of course you wouldn't rather die. So why use those words, you know? And let's talk about petrified and terrified and, you know, scared to death and all this kind of stuff. I think I said this the other day. If you're in a field and there's a tiger or a lion set loose, and said tiger has not been fed for a week, and you're in that field trapped with it, and he's kind of looking at you thinking, lunch, I give you permission to be terrified. I give you permission to be absolutely petrified. I give you permission to be in fear of your life, because you are now in a life-threatening situation. Hiya, Judith. Nice to have you on board. Yes, I'm excited too. All right, so now this is the problem with language. And when other people tell you about changing your language, what they will do is they will say, no, you mustn't use those words. And I agree with that. And from now on, those kind of words, I'm petrified, I'm terrified, you know, I'd rather die, okay, banned. Banned vocabulary. You are not allowed anymore to use that kind of vocabulary. But this is what other trainers tell you to do. They tell you to instead to tell yourself, I am supremely confident. I am awesome. I have no fear. I am brilliant. I am dynamic. I'm confident. I'm the superstar. I'm brilliant, and all that kind of stuff. And they'll tell you to say that in the mirror and all of this kind of thing. Now, for a small majority of people, and I say a small majority of people, yeah, that technique can work. In my experience though, and I have worked with hundreds of people on this, and even I've done it myself, but for the majority of people, that does not work. And I'll tell you why. The minute you start saying, I am supremely confident, the little gremlin that sits on your shoulder, little Missy as I call her, immediately shouts very loud, bollocks. And they don't believe, you don't believe it, you know. So you're saying, I'm supremely confident, bollocks, it's rubbish. No, you're not, you're crapping yourself, you know. So you've got a battle going on. And believe me, when you've got a gremlin who is supremely adept at saying all of this stuff, designed to keep you safe, designed to stop you putting you in that situation, that little gremlin is going to win most of the time. Okay, small percentage of people, you know, you can beat the gremlin. Hello, good morning, Mark. Mark's the bold gorilla, Miami Mark. Welcome. Mark's from Miami, and it's morning over there. It's quite early in the morning. It's about 8:15. So anyway, what are you going to do instead then? You're banned from using all this fear language. You're banned from saying I'm petrified. You're banned from saying I'm, you know, crapping myself and all of this kind of stuff. But you know that saying the total opposite isn't going to work. So here's what you do instead. You say to yourself, and you acknowledge, like I've said, it's normal. The number one fear in the world, yeah? So it's actually quite acceptable to acknowledge that you have some anxiety. But what you do is you don't say I'm terrified, I'm petrified, because that magnifies it. You say instead, I am a little bit anxious, yeah, okay, I admit that one, but you know what? It's all gonna be fine. Now, the fact that you've acknowledged it shuts the gremlin up, because it's going, yes, but now you're saying, but you know what? It's all going to be fine. I'm going to survive. I'm not going to die. It's all good. It's all good. I'm fine. And if you say it to yourself in a nice, calming manner, you can believe it. Now, here's what happens. Because you can believe it, your initial fear will start to lessen. So I want to do a little exercise with you. I want you to put yourself in a place where it would trigger fear for you. Now, for some people, that might be just speaking in front of 6. Others, it might be speaking in front of 60. Others, to trigger that anxiety, you might need to be speaking in front of 6,000 or even 60,000. Or it could be to do with the content of the people in your audience, yeah? Some people are fine with their peers, but they're not with their superiors, or vice versa, all sorts of things, you know, that trigger this feeling. So what I want you to do is kind of close your eyes, and I want you to imagine yourself coming out of your comfort zone. And I want you to use language, really extreme language, like, oh my God, I am bloody well petrified. Oh my God, I'm going to die. And I want you to notice the feelings and the sensations that you have in your body when you use those words. All right, now, the thing is, I'm sure you start feeling them now, because that's the way our brain is wired. So shake that feeling off. We don't like that feeling, okay? But the minute you start telling yourself, I'm petrified, your brain is wired to prepare your body into flight and, you know, fight and flight syndrome. So you will start getting that adrenaline rush that is just like, you know, and it's not good. So now I want you to imagine you are in that same position and you're about to step onto the stage, or you're about to hit a webinar where you've got a massive, you know, bunch of people all waiting to hear what you've got to say, or you're about to do your first ever Facebook Live. And I just want you to say, yeah, this is outside of my comfort zone. I mean, I am experiencing a little bit of anxiety here, but you know what? It's all going to be fine. It's all good. I can do this. And now notice how you feel. And I'm not saying that the fear will completely evaporate, but it will shrink enormously. And because you then believe it, you can get through that life. And at the end of it, you go, hey, that wasn't so bad after all. Yeah, I'm still alive. And you know what? I actually even rather enjoyed it. That was quite cool, really. So now next time you change your language again and you say, yeah, all right, this is good. Now, yesterday I talked about, or was it the day before? I forget now which day it was. But I talked about the fact that when you're scared, it's all adrenaline, and we put the label, when we feel the adrenaline, when we get them symptoms, we put the label of fear on it. And we talked about, instead of putting a label of fear on it, you put a label of excitement on it. So now you go, oh my, instead of saying, I am oh my God, this is so petrifying, you just say, oh my God, this is so exciting. And you say, yeah, I'm a little bit anxious, but that's cool. And actually, I'm excited. And now when you start telling yourself you're excited and you're going to be all okay, Gremlin is satisfied, you believe it, and you give a great performance. And before you know it, you alter your language bit by bit until you can go, fuck me, I'm good. And you can say, I am confident, I'm good at this, I can do this. And now you believe it. Okay, so it's like a step change process that you can follow and believe, and it doesn't take long to get you there. And if you were to do a live every day for 5 days, you can take yourself from crapping yourself to feeling really supremely confident in that short space of time. It really works. It really, really, really works. Absolutely, Mark. Words have power. Choose yours carefully. Choose them extremely carefully. Language is everything when it comes to how you feel. So that's the first thing. Trace is saying, just pictured an audience with emoji smiley faces. Absolutely. And this is the thing as well, okay? We think that it's all about, you know, we think that people are going to criticize us and judge us and all the rest of it. And yeah, there's always going to be somebody who's, you know, wanting to throw rocks at you. Who cares? Let it bounce off. But the majority of people want you to do well. The majority of people are there because they want to hear what you've got to say. And this is the other thing when it comes to confidence. Most of us suffer with confidence because the focus is on us. And we are thinking about our performance. We're thinking about, how am I going to do? We are thinking about what people are going to think of us. All you have to do is turn things around. And this is the second thing that I mentioned. So the first is language. The second is focus. So instead of focusing inwards on yourself, if you focus outwards on your audience, you'll feel differently. So what you do is you focus on the message. You know you're awesome at what you do. You know you have an amazing message. You know you have stuff that's going to really help people in your audience. They've shown up because they want to hear what you have to say. And all you have to do is think about what I have to say could absolutely massively change somebody in the audience for the better. It can get them on a path. It can get them in, you know, it doesn't matter if that impact is small or huge. You're having a positive impact on the audience. So it's not about you, it's about the message. And when you focus on the message and the positive effect that that message is going to have in your audience, oh my God, that should make you feel good. That should really make you feel good, all right? So you focus on the positive impact that your message is going to have on your audience. Alrighty, absolutely. Trace is saying no one wants to be judged, but if you know your stuff, it's their issue and not that you're a bad speaker. That's absolutely right. Sometimes people are not in the right place to hear your message yet. And that's cool. As Trace said, that's all about them. It's not about you, okay? You are the deliverer of a message. Whether they take that message or not is entirely in their own, sort of control. All right, so the other thing on focus, and this is where it really gets fun. Now, here's the thing as well. When people start to get nervous, what are they focusing on? In fact, tell me, apart from the things that I've already mentioned, what are people focusing on when they're scared, they're about to speak? Tell me what, type in the comments. And I keep forgetting to ask this as well. Smash the like keys, and I always forget. So I got like nice little like fingers and hearts going. Give me some love. Hit the heart button on the live so I can see the love going across the screen. But also type in for me what you think people are focusing on when they're feeling anxious about speaking. I know you're there. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mark. They're focusing on looking like a fool. Why are they focusing on, yeah, exactly, failure or mocking up? And what they're actually focusing on is everything that can go wrong. They are probably focusing on, oh my God, I'm going to forget my words. I'm going to go blank. I'm going to look like a Muppet. My projector's not going to work. I'm gonna cock up, basically. And if they're focusing on all the things that are going to go wrong, how likely is it, do you think, that they're going to feel confident? It kind of stands to reason. Now, what if instead you focused on all the things going right? What if you focused on it being an amazing presentation, a message that has an impact, a message that is well received and that is going to change some people's lives in your audience, a message that's going to get them taking action, and a message that's going to, above all, give you a bloody well standing ovation and loads of fabulous feedback at the end of it. Now, how are you going to feel compared to the first time? Stands to reason you're going to feel a hell of a lot better, yeah? Absolutely, Mark. Your thoughts become your reality, because you've got two things going on here. First of all, if you focus on the negative, it's obvious you're going to feel crap. If you focus on the positive, you're going to feel good. But also, you've got the whole kind of, vibrational thing going on, where you're putting that out there. If you focus on everything that's going to go wrong, chances are something is going to go wrong, because that's what you're focusing on. That's where the vibration is, and it becomes reality. If you're focusing on all the good stuff, that's going to become your reality instead, because that's the vibration that you're putting out there. Okay, so your focus is absolutely everything. Now, here's a little tip for you to focus on something good. Now, think of a time when, in the past, you have had an amazing reaction from your speaking. Think of a time when you felt supremely confident. Now, you may not have got the experience yet to have pulled that from actual speaking times. If you have, fantastic. Think of a time when you were in your flow, you were giving a message and people were loving it. If you haven't, just think of a time in any situation when you felt on it, Think of any time in your life when you just felt happy. That could be your wedding day. It could be your divorce day. It can be any day that you choose that you felt brilliant, all right? So just focus on that and you're going to feel good. And what I want you to do from this is shut your eyes, focus on that really happy thought, and just remember the feeling. And now that you've got that feeling from that time, magnify it. So blow that feeling right up so it's huge and you feel absolutely brilliant, and allow it to like wrap around you in the form of a great big berry hug. And I guarantee you will feel good. All right, now what you have to do is remember that and practice recalling that. A lot of people use a technique called anchoring, where they'll, you know, put two fingers together or touch their ring. I just visualize it, and then I can feel it instantly. Another little technique is, especially if you're going to walk out onto a stage, imagine like where the spotlight is, where the center of the stage is. Imagine a lovely warm golden circle, and as you step into it, you feel all those feelings from before, and you'll feel it again. And this does work because they do this in movies all the time. Okay, they get you to take on an emotional state all the time, so it really works. Okay, Mike's saying he can't see me. Can everybody else see me? Let me know if you can see me, guys. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you can see me. And hit the like button, hit the love button for me, so I can see little hearts going across the screen. I always like that. I keep forgetting to ask people to do that. It's good fun when it is. Okay, nobody's answering me. I don't know if you can see me and you can still hear me. All right. Anyway, I'm going to continue just in case. Oh, yes, you can. Brill. Okay. I don't know then. Oh, sod. You sod, Mike. Yes, you can open your eyes, you sod. Oh, thank you, Mark. A vision of beauty. I love you. All right, so what you focus on is going to help you feel better. Okay, now, the last thing is your physiology. And physiology is so important when it comes to speaking. Now, I'm going to try and raise my screen and my camera up a little bit. I've got to stand up for this bit. Oh, you can still see me. Bear with me. Okay, so now what I want you to do again is go back to that image of yourself in a situation where you're outside of your comfort zone. And one of the things that people do when they are about to speak on a stage is they stand all wrong. Now, you can't see all of me, which is a bit of a shame, but one of the things that we automatically do is we kind of stand to attention. So you got your feet in front of you. And the other thing that we do is we're a bit scared and we want to give ourselves a hug. No, we're not going to go as far as giving ourselves a hug, but we kind of do it subconsciously. And what we'll do is we'll have our hands, you know, maybe just in front of us and clasped. But what happens is our shoulders roll forward and we kind of bend very slightly. You can hardly see it, but you can bend. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to stand up. I don't care where you are, and I want you to do this with me. Stand with your feet together, kind of clasp your hands, which is a very protective thing, you know, to do. Roll your shoulders forward, bend very slightly at the waist. And a couple of things you're going to notice. First of all, you feel very wobbly and unstable, and that really doesn't help. And what I want you to do is I want you to notice how you're feeling. And it's a horrible feeling. I'm feeling it right now. You kind of start feeling weak. You kind of, this is where the knees knocking comes from. I can feel kind of stuff going on in my heart, and I can feel my concentration is going. Okay, and I want you to tell me if you notice it. Okay, first of all, shake it off, because that's really not nice. So shake it off. You can sit back down for a second again and just type in the comments box for me how that felt for you. Did you experience any of the things that I was describing there? You may have experienced other stuff as well. So again, hit the like buttons if you like this, and if you love what I'm saying, hit the like buttons. I don't see all the hearts. When I see other people's lives, I see all these likes and hearts and things going across the screen. I ain't seeing any of that. So either you're not doing it, or it's just that I'll only see them afterwards when it's finished. Anyway, so type in for me what you think, what you experienced doing that kind of exercise. And while you're doing that, I'm going to explain why. First of all, when you've got your feet together, you're off balance. You're not centered. So you're going to feel, you know, unstable. That sends messages to your brain, like a bit like being on a tripwire or on the edge of a cliff, and that feels scary. Okay. The other thing that's happening, the fact that you've got your hands clasped, it's telling your body and it's telling your mind, your body is telling your mind that we are needing to be protected. So therefore, we must be in some form of danger. So of course, what the brain does is it puts the adrenaline, it kicks the flight and fight syndrome in, the adrenaline starts rushing. So you start having an increased pulse, you start your heart racing, and you start having those horrible butterflies in your stomach, and you start to feel sick and weak and all that kind of stuff. The other thing that's happening is the fact that you have got your shoulders forward and you're very slightly, it doesn't take much, very slightly bending forwards, it shuts your diaphragm off. So you can only breathe very shallowly, and the oxygen is being restricted to the rest of your body and to your brain. So that magnifies all the other symptoms that we've got going on already. It magnifies the fact that you feel weak. It magnifies the fact that you, because the oxygen's just not getting to the parts of the body that it needs to. So that makes you feel dreadful. It makes you feel sick. It doesn't. The oxygen doesn't flow to the brain. So basically, that's why your life starts getting worse. So it's really not good, the posture. So what you're going to do instead, okay, Mike's saying some people that you're getting sound breakup. Oh, bless, I am getting hearts. It makes me feel not in reality, and I noticed that my head went down. Yeah, absolutely, you get a weird feeling and your head goes down. Okay, Mike, I'm not sure if the sound breakup is internet connection where I am or where you are or not. Not the internet connection, but from what she's saying, she can hear me okay. So anyway, what we're going to do instead, we're going to fix that posture. So what you need to do is stand, okay, with your feet just underneath your hips, not too wide, because that really puts you in aggressive stance, but just put your feet just underneath your hips, okay, apart, and you need to have your weight evenly distributed, okay, on each foot, so that you feel grounded. And what you're going to do is you're going to raise your posture up, so feel as though you've got something coming out of the top of your head, and that you feel this thing going right the way down to the ground, so that you feel nice and grounded. And then what you're going to do is just roll your shoulders back and down to open up the diaphragm. And when you do that, whoo, the oxygen goes in and you start to feel 1,000 times better. And that's often all you need to do to just feel so much better. And if you've got your head up, you feel better too. And smile, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put all of this together. So, first of all, we're going to do the kind of icky feeling, and then we're going to do the great feeling. And we're going to combine everything together, and I'm going to show you the difference in how you're going to feel. So the first thing to do is put your feet together, roll your shoulders forward, bend very slightly at the waist, clasp your hands, focus on everything that could possibly go wrong, focus on feeling crap, focus on negative reviews and being judged, and use the language, oh my God, I am petrified, this is dreadful, I wish the ground would just open up and swallow me, and I would rather be anywhere than here, even at the dentist. And what I want you to do, without changing any of that, keep your facial expression, keep your posture, keep your focus, keep your language all the same, and now try and force yourself to feel confident. Is it working? I can guarantee you it ain't gonna work. Okay, so shake that off, because it's not very nice, not very good feeling at all. So what you're going to do now is you're going to put your feet nice and underneath your hips, nice and grounded, relaxed, Don't lock your knees, make them nice and soft. Put your shoulders back and down. Take a nice deep breath in, smile. And now you're going to focus on really great things. Focus on that time when you felt on top of the world. Think of the time when you felt terrific. Think of the time when you felt the happiest you've ever felt in your life. And start using great language. Oh my God, this is awesome. They are going to love what I got to say. And I can't wait to hear, you know, the impact, the reaction, and all the rest of it. I'm so excited. This is so brilliant. And keeping everything the same. Now try and feel as crap as you did a couple of minutes ago. And I guarantee you can't do it. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you to shake that horrible feeling off, because it's not. It's a lovely feeling. Feeling good is fabulous. So I'm going to sit. You can sit down now. Okay, so there may be a few internet connection problems, judging from the comments that are coming in. Maybe that's why we haven't got quite so many on today. I don't know. But anyway, so that's a top tip today for managing your state and having instant confidence. I've got shed loads more on confidence, where that little lot came from. Finally, my final tip for today is, when it comes to starting to build confidence, just do it. It's like everything. The more you do it, the more proficient you become, the better practiced you are, the confidence builds, and before you know it, you know, you wonder what on earth the fuss was all about. I mean, can you remember the first time you ever got in a car? You were probably crapping yourself. You were probably terrified. Now you do it probably without even thinking about it. And that's where you can get with Facebook Lives and speaking in general as well. And I want a big shout out to Trace. Well done, Trace. She did a first Facebook Live today. She made it to herself, and then she got published it. And that's what it is. That first step. So well done, Trace. Congratulations, you did it. The next one, you'll feel better about it, and you will start to feel more and more confident, and then before you know it, you'll be taking it in your stride and speaking anywhere and everywhere, and taking advantage of the massive opportunities that come in your way because you're willing to speak and others are not. That's the thing, you get so many more opportunities, because especially like if you're at an event, whether that's a live event, networking event, or, you know, if they're supposed to be a guest speaker on a webinar and all of a sudden they're ill or can't make it, usually the event organizer is panicking. Oh my God, I need to get somebody on short notice. Most people don't like doing it short notice, but if you're prepared and you have the confidence and you can step into those shoes, you are going to be loved, and the opportunities are going to come your way like magic. They really, really, really are. Trace is saying she's jumped up all excited. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Alrighty, are there any questions? Are there any questions or comments? I'm probably not going to be quite so long today, because it would appear the internet connection isn't what it could be. Hopefully the video will come out okay, so with any luck the recording will be fine. Just type in and let me know if you've got any questions, or if you've got any comments you want to make on any of the stuff that we covered today. Other than that, I'll draw it to an end, and hope that the video is all good. Otherwise we'll have to do it another time. We're going to together. See, I mean, this is the thing. Even if it goes completely tits up, even if it goes completely pear-shaped, you can just do it again. Do it better next time. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what goes wrong. It doesn't matter if you're doing a webinar and the connection goes out. I mean, crikey, I've done webinars in the past. I've had thunderstorms. I've had the fire alarm go off in the building. I've had all sorts of things. And I just couldn't get into the webinar room. I was using a piece of software, and everybody else was in the room except me. I couldn't get it. It happens. It doesn't matter. You just redo it. And B. It really doesn't matter. Okay, I'm not sure if my connection's gone and nobody's talking to me, so I'm just going to say then, cheerio. Thank you so much again to those of you who've come on today. Tracy's saying, yeah, you're much more excited now. Good. Yes, there's no such thing as fear anymore. It's excitement. And then you might be outside your comfort zone, but it's all good. It's all okay, and you can do this. So I want to see all of you doing more lives. Next week we're going to have a marathon, hopefully, of lives happening, and I look forward to seeing how you get on. Do post any questions in the comments on this thread, and I will keep my eyes peeled and endeavour to answer them all. So until then, guys, see you soon. Big kisses, big bear hugs, and see you soon. Bye.